everybody. It's Ed Gates III and Paul Gamber with the Getaway gang. How you guys all doing today? Paul,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking, man. Doing good. I got my afternoon cup of coffee here in my Freedom of the Seas cup, and
Me too, man. Me
so I'm
too.
ready to go. I'm ready to
Well, happy
talk travel.
Tuesday to everybody. Thanks again for tuning in to our Travel Talk Live. Today we're going to cover a few different things. We're going to give you an update real quick on the coronavirus outbreak that's really harming the travel industry. And then Paul's going to talk a little bit about um, a special topic he's got prepared today, which is wave season. So yeah, there we go. Wave season. So I want to kick it off here. We're going to give us a quick update on coronavirus. And this thing is just changing uh, regularly. Last week we did our news show and we did an update on the coronavirus. And because of some prior commitments, we had to record a little bit earlier than we usually do. And by the time we ended up airing it and then publishing it, the stats had already completely changed. So please keep in mind these stats are as of the morning of February 11th. Since emerging in Wuhan in central China about a month ago, the virus has spread from about 300 people on January 21st to more than 40,000 now cases, with the number of new cases growing by the thousands every day. The death toll from the new coronavirus surged about above 1,000 in mainland China, with more than 100 deaths in a single day, which is a record. The number of confirmed infections continues to rise, but the rate of growing is actually slowing, which is a good thing. Beijing on Tuesday urged countries that have enacted travel restrictions aimed at curbing the outbreak to restore normal ties for the sake of the global economy. The appeal from China's foreign ministry underscored the economic dangers that I talked about last week posed by the unprecedented shutdown of much of the world's second largest economy, as well as the ruling Communist Party's concern about the outbreak's capacity to fuel domestic instability. Authorities in Wuhan tightened restrictions on citizens, allowing just one member of a household to make one shopping trip every 3 days, and placing entire buildings under quarantine. China is bracing for the return of some 160 million migrant workers to their cities of employment as the country's economic sputters back to life after an extended holiday following the outbreak. For those of you who don't know, Chinese New Year is usually around the middle of February, and it usually lasts quite a few weeks. So now January, and everybody starts to get back to work right about now. But health authorities have also cautioned that a negative test result from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention laboratory does not necessarily mean someone will not get the virus. So it is still a highly volatile, mutating virus that we need to keep an eye on. A negative test likely means a person is not infected. However, it may mean that an infection is not developed enough to be detected yet by the tests. So they still are really in the infant stages of knowing what they're dealing with here.
Well, part of the interesting thing, one of the most fascinating things to me in watching the news stories about this has been sort of the political climate and the government in China. And, it's like they're like, oh, no, nothing to see here. Let's keep the economy going. But at the same time, it's like it's a serious outbreak. And I get it. It's detrimental to their economy, to the world economy. But, it's serious. And it has now outpaced SARS, which was kind of one of the last big outbreaks that had people concerned in terms of the number of people that it's killed. So, we'll see.
One thing we didn't talk about last week, because it just happened literally last Tuesday is when this story first broke. We have a cruise ship that has been pretty much quarantined off the coast of Tokyo for at least a week, maybe longer. Paul, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Diamond Princess?
Yeah, it's funny. Well, not funny, but it did happen right basically right before we had our show, or right after. It's the Diamond Princess. I'm sure you've heard about it. It's been on the news every day for the last few days now, but it's a Princess cruise ship. It has about 3,700 passengers and of course crew on top of that. And it's quarantined in Yokohama, just south of Tokyo. Princess announced last week that it was going to quarantine the ship for those 14 days, which is kind of the standard accepted incubation period. So I think they're about halfway through that 2 weeks quarantine, because a guest who had not had any symptoms when they got on the ship ended up testing positive coronavirus. And unfortunately, yesterday, so Monday, Princess Cruises confirmed that an additional 66 cases of coronavirus have been diagnosed. And all those people, of course, have been taken off the ship. They're in local hospitals in Japan. But everyone else, all the other crew members and passengers, well over 3,000, are quarantined there and basically stuck in their rooms for at least another week until they can be cleared from and having the coronavirus. So, I saw a thing on the news where ambulances were there at the pier, sort of waiting to take people as they were diagnosed. And unfortunately, too, I think the crew is really suffering because they're still having to provide food and services to the passengers. And there's been a bit of a higher infection rate among the crew than even the passengers. So it's an unfortunate situation, but they're doing what they can to keep it under control. And I think the quarantine is a smart thing. But if you've got travel plans coming up to China, and that kind of leads into what I know you'd like to talk about, which is travel insurance and how that's being affected by coronavirus.
Yeah, that's right. And honestly, guys, this is rare for a travel agent to tell you this, but don't travel to China right now. It is not a good time. And I've had a couple clients of mine voice concerns about getting on any cruise ship right now with a pandemic going on. And that's a very valid claim, a valid concern, I should say. And there's a further reason, which actually I wasn't aware of, and I've been through travel insurance certification. Paul and I both took a course in this, and we both are certified travel insurance experts. But this one went over my head. I did not realize it. But the travel agency, or the travel insurance agency that we deal with, came out with a press release, basically reminding us all about the clause in the travel insurance that states that many protect travel. That excludes the loss of caused directly or indirectly by an epidemic. So epidemics are exempt for most travel protection plans, actually, which I didn't realize this. This means that any sickness or travel interruption caused by a situation such as a coronavirus outbreak likely will not be covered by travel insurance. And that's just the heck of it right there, Paul. I mean, honestly, if any disease out there gets to a epidemic level while you are sick on a cruise ship with it, you're going to lose your coverage right there. And those airlifts are not cheap. Evacuation, moving any kind of medical transportation from a cruise ship to a hospital costs a lot of money. And so that's a risk you're going to have to understand going into this travel season with this outbreak being in place. Travel protection plans generally exclude losses caused by events that were known or foreseeable at the time the plan is purchased. Also, fear of travel because of the coronavirus is not grounds for getting your money back under travel insurance either. They will not honor that. Since the coronavirus outbreak became a known event on January 22nd, any travel or insurance policy purchased after the date will likely also exclude coverage. This is a very rare and extenuating circumstance.
That's the good news.
That's the good news. But it's always good to check the fine print of any travel insurance policy you purchase. Keep a copy of your travel protection plan with you, one that includes your policy number and your phone number to contact your insurer. Even if a travel insurance plan does not cover an epidemic, a reputable insurance company should allow you to cancel a purchased plan and receive a refund if your travel supplier has canceled your trip. However, if it's anything related to that epidemic, it's not going to be covered at all.
Well, the good news is, and I was reading this, is if, for instance, your cruise was canceled flat out by the cruise company, and the company we work with is Allianz, and I'm using them as an example. They were offering a window where you could at least be refunded. You're not going to be stuck with a travel insurance policy that you're not going to use. So you'll at least be able to get your money back. But if you do, yeah, before you travel. If you're, it's out of your control. But
the cruise lines are doing a pretty good job of refunding these cruises already as well, or during future travel. So.
And one other thing I wanted to mention, because you led with this about just being on a cruise in general right now. I'm seeing every single day, cruise lines here domestically, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, that don't have any sailings in that part of the world, that are just mostly focused on the Caribbean and such like that. They're being very clear that they're doing extra screening even here. If you've got a Chinese passport, you're getting extra screening. I mean, it is what it is. And of course, anyone who's traveled to China anytime in the last 2 or 3 weeks, they're just not letting on board a ship. So, and it seems it's unfortunate, but most of the time, you're not going to have traveled to China and then go to Fort Lauderdale and get on a cruise to the Bahamas. I mean, that's not affecting a lot of people, but just, to sort of, lessen your fears. It's not just, they're doing stuff here in the U.S. to mitigate as well. So anyway.
Well, let's lighten the mood again.
Yes.
I want you to talk about what I know it as winter. What do you know it as, Paul?
I know it as wave season. And you may have caught me just talk a little snippet here and there about wave season. And an article in the New York Times caught my eye a couple weeks ago. And I really wanted to talk about this because you're right. January, February, March, most of us are in those winter, we're in winter mode. We're in the winter doldrums or whatever you want to call it. We're like, Christmas is over and we start dreaming about that next vacation. Well, this is our biggest time of year as travel advisors, at least on the cruising front of things, because that's where this applies to the most. And we in the industry call it wave season. So what is wave season? And the easiest way for me to explain it is if you consider Black Friday or Cyber Monday, that's kind of like the travel industry, the cruise industry's Black Friday or Cyber Monday, except that it goes on for 3 months. So that's an exciting thing. So basically the long and short of it is during this 3-month period, cruise lines are offering their most attractive deals and perks in an attempt to get travelers like you to dream of sun and sand in these, depressing winter months and start thinking about that next vacation. The editor-in-chief of Cruise Critic, and you've probably seen them online, it's a pretty big travel website, Colleen McDaniel quoted, "The industry is trying to capture the traveler when they might be in a travel mood. They've gone through a couple of months of poor weather, just come off the Christmas holidays, and they're thinking, what might a summer vacation look like for my family?" And that's just exactly what I said. And so, as a travel advisor, do we think that you should take heed of wave season and book to take advantage of these deals? And the answer is absolutely, unequivocally yes, because we see deals this time of year that we just don't see any other time of year. You can always count on attractive deals during wave season. The rest of the year, it's more of a gamble. It's not that something might not come up, and we see them come up, but you're guaranteed here in these first 3 months that you're going to find some awesome offers. So in the past, but even still now, some wave season offers are sort of like a take this amount of dollars off your booking. But more recently, we've seen a lot of wave season promos that cover amenities. So like alcoholic beverage packages, prepaid gratuities, cabin upgrades, shore excursion credits, free Wi-Fi, stuff like that. And that's a nice thing. And our very own founder and CEO, Michelle Fee, of Cruise Planners, was quoted in this New York Times article as saying, "People remember the experience, not that I saved $100 or $200. That's why cruise companies started adding amenities." And she's exactly right. You're going to remember that awesome shore excursion that we got for you, or the extra money you had to spend on experiences and such, rather than just what you may have saved off your fare. And that's a really good point. Another perk that I'm seeing a lot of, and it's especially on river cruises, like through companies like Viking or Avalon, or a little bit more premium cruise line like Oceania, is free or discounted or even sometimes free airfare on these cruises during wave season. I've seen every morning, basically, Viking especially is sending a new set of destinations for this year and sailings that have that free or highly discounted airfare. So that can really add up, especially when you're going to Europe on one of these river cruises. Another thing to consider is, since cruises are booked on a deposit basis, and final payment on these cruises is not generally due in most cases till 1 or 2 months out, it means that even if, and it's a big if, some other better, more attractive offer comes through after wave season, we can still make it work for you. We can adjust. The cruise lines will match it. It's no risk for you to put down the deposit, but more than likely you're going to nab this, and you're going to be glad you did, because you're going to get a lot of extra perks. An interesting thing, Ed, did you know that 70% of cruise bookings are made by travel advisors? I did not know that, and I'm a travel advisor. And the nice thing about that is, and we've talked about this, that kind of volume, that 70% of all cruise bookings made by travel advisors, gives us access to discounts and perks that you just won't find booking through a cruise line direct.
Wow.
Or even an online travel agency. So working with an agent is something that article, the New York Times article, specifically recommended, simply because, we always say, well, look for the best fit for you, the best deal for you, but we keep an eye on future promotions and see if updating your booking can save you more money. I go in several times a week in our own system. There's an option called special sales. And you've seen it too, Ed. It's chock-a-block full of deal after deal that, it may be a good fit for you, it may not be. But I can confidently say that our relationships with the cruise lines can get you, as our clients, preferential treatment. We have not only the buying power of Cruise Planners, which is a huge, awesome company, but we're also part of the American Express Travel Network. We see special deals. We've gotten deals for our clients that are only for Amex card holders. So there's just all kinds of awesome stuff out there. And this time of year in wave season, it's the way to go. So
Paul.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you, got any good deals for us?
Well, I started, and when I originally thought about talking about wave season, I wanted to highlight some specific deals. And honestly, Ed, there's just way too many. I pulled a few off. These are just kind of some examples of general sales that we have going on right now. One in particular that just expired, but it did come up here in the last couple of weeks during wave season. We weren't even allowed to get out there and advertise it, but exclusively to Cruise Planners, and maybe another
secret deal.
Yeah, secret deal. Really, they come across, and Carnival doesn't really offer too many big deals. And in fact, I personally saw this come across and called my mother, who booked it. But we were getting some exclusive rates, and that weren't even, you couldn't even get if you called Carnival. You couldn't even get them, and this was probably a couple $100 cheaper by the end of it than it would have been if we went on Carnival and booked it. At least $100, and this is just on a 3-day cruise. So
that's value right there.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Already low value.
And I hate to even mention that because it has expired, but that's the kind of thing that's coming in all the time that we keep our eye on.
Keep an eye out for them. If anybody's interested in booking, now's the time to do it, and let us know what you're looking for. And then right now we can put find you these wave season deals.
Yeah,
and then keep an eye out for you. So have us hunt for you.
Yeah, we love hunting, and some other friends and clients. We booked on a celebrity cruise here to Europe this summer for the 20th anniversary, and they got and they they didn't even book a balcony cabins. A lot of times you'll see all of the perks and such are contingent upon booking a balcony or a suite. They booked an inside cabin on Celebrity. They got free prepaid gratuities. They got $300 in onboard credit. They got a free drink package. They got free Wi-Fi for 2 devices. And this is for like a 10-day cruise in Europe. So, and that was crazy. And Celebrity's still offering the 4 perks and through wave season. MSC is offering a free drink package and free Wi-Fi on all their Caribbean cruises. Virgin Voyages, the sexy newest kid on the block, is offering up to $400 in onboard credit. Royal Caribbean offering up to $300 in onboard credit. All these awesome things are going on right now, and one of them probably fits what you're looking to do this year. And so put us to work for you. We don't charge any fees, and we can, like I said, give you an even better deal a lot of times than you're going to find online or through the cruise agency. So I know I've said it a million times to sound like a broken record, but it's exciting to me. I love doing it. And I love getting you guys matched up with an awesome deal. So that's just a little bit about wave season. Ed, thanks for letting me blather on and on. I'll remind our viewers.
I love it, man.
I'll remind our viewers, obviously they can reach out in the comment here, but also our website is www.getawaygang.com. It is an awesome website. It's a great place to start dreaming about your vacation or to get in touch with us. So.
Right.
So tell us.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm excited about the next topic, which is coming up this weekend, and I'm headed out to Phoenix to maybe do a little celebration with you. So tell us all about that.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait to see you. Yeah, it's my birthday Saturday, and I'll be turning 44 years old. And
so
we
old.
do for the last 8 years. Can you believe it's been 8 years, Paul?
No.
I put together what I like to call my birthday light rail pub crawl. So it's a pub crawl that we start. I live within walking distance of the light rail that was built back in 2008 through Metro Phoenix. And about 4 years after it opened, I had the crazy idea, since all the construction was done. And I was just cruising along it one day just for fun, taking it down to the ballpark, because you could take it right. It goes right by where the Diamondbacks play. And I was like, "There's a few bars along the way here. I'd like to scout it out sometime and see if this is something we could actually do." So my brother-in-law Brian and I got in the car and we drove down the light rail. And we kept pointing out different places. Oh, we could go there, and it goes right down Mill Avenue, which is in downtown Tempe, and it goes into Mesa, and it goes to downtown Phoenix. So we've tried different iterations of this thing throughout the years. Sometimes we start in Mesa and work our way back, stopping at the bars along the light rail. Sometimes we start in Phoenix and we head out to Mesa. And so I get creative every year, try to work in a few new places every single time. This year we're going to stay primarily in Central Phoenix. So we're going to do what I call the Phoenix Loop, where we're going to start just a little bit north of the city and go downtown and then go to some of the bars right there in the Metro Phoenix area. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to seeing you, Paul. Maybe we'll drop in and say hi to everybody while we're participating in our revelry.
Now that we've teased them with this fun sounding event, I think maybe we should do that earlier in the night before we've imbibed too much. But
yeah, and you know what? It's kind of grown in size. It got really big. Like on my 40th birthday, it was huge. We're down to a nice, comfortable size of people to do it. But one of these years we're gonna, I think I've tried to cancel it a couple times, and people call me up and said, "Hey Ed, when's the pub crawl?" So it's got a mind. So yeah. So anyway, we'll be doing that this weekend, and I'm looking forward to seeing you, Paul.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it too, and Steph is too. She doesn't always get to come, so she's excited to be able to come along this too. So
Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in to Travel Talk Live. And I hope you got something out of this video. If you have any questions about anything we talked about or anything travel in general, leave a comment here below or give us a private message on Facebook or give us a call. We're happy to help. We do a question and answer show at the last week of every month. So if you've got questions in general, if you've always wondered something about travel agents, if you always wondered something about traveling or any destination or anything like that, leave us a comment and we'll answer it on that show. And tune in next week where we're going to talk about one of Paul and my most favorite sports, baseball.
Yes.
Spring training starts.
Just say it like James Earl Jones, like from Field of Dreams, like baseball.
Baseball.
People will come.
Will come, Ray. People will totally come.
Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt.
We're getting into mid-February is when pitchers and catchers report, and the week after that is when the games start. We have spring training, and there's 2 locations where spring training takes place: South Florida and Central Phoenix. So tune in next week. We're going to talk about both destinations and where to go and how to make the best out of your spring training trip. So we'll see you next week.
All right, guys. Have a great week and like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Take care.